Hey, what's up Pokemon trainers? You've got Pokemon Master TC, and today I am showing off another special item from my childhood. It's from my childhood collection. I've had this a very long time, and that is the official Pokemon Handbook. I love this thing, but more on this in just a little bit. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button because I've got so much really cool Pokemon content on this channel, ranging from me doing Pokemon countdowns to me doing Pokemon of the Week to showcasing my epic Japanese trip where I went to the Pokemon centers and picked up a lot of cool items there. So hit that sub button so you don't miss any Pokemon content, and it really helps me grow. All right, coming up, I'm gonna be showcasing the Pokemon Official Handbook. Pokemon changed my life. It became my first addiction. The TV show, games, cards, and toys. I was enamored by it all. Becoming a Pokemon Master was all that I cared about as a kid. And so, I became one. Join me, Pokemon Master TC, as I relive the most nostalgic part of my childhood and showcase my Pokemon collection, and most important of all, share my love of Pokemon with you. Trainers, I got this handbook not too long after it came out. In fact, I remember the night that I got it. My parents and I would go to Meijer, which is kind of like Walmart, but it's for the Midwest. And at Meijer, Pokemon was everywhere during my childhood. And this was still during the early stages of Pokemon. I'd say Pokemon had only been out in the US for about a year, and I had Pokemon fever. I was so obsessed with Pokemon, and that meant Pokemon cards, Pokemon figures, Pokemon video games. And the next foray into my obsession was books. And what better way to get a kid to read than the Pokemon Handbook? Now, this is my childhood copy, but I'm a little bit embarrassed by how beat up it is. If you look at the cover, you're gonna see it's not in the greatest condition, although the pages, like inside of it, oh, see, it's already kind of falling apart. At least inside of it, it's extremely well kept, no stains, smoke-free home, and the colors are all vivid and bright. There's no sun damage, but I gotta figure out what to do about this spine. Anyway, I remember the night that I got this, I was in the book section by chance, and this was on display, and I immediately went toward this. And I picked it up, and I started reading it, and my parents noticed that I was into this book, and I don't think it was very expensive. This could be $10 to $15 maybe at the time in 1998 or 1999, whenever it was released. And so they ended up getting it for me. Now, something that I will always encourage everyone, whether you're an adult or a kid, is to read. And this got me to read. On the ride home, my nose was so far into this book. I remember I would sit, we had a big lazy boy chair, and I would just read in order for hours. And I loved this handbook. I learned so much stuff about every single Pokemon, and I will kind of showcase what this handbook has to offer. So let's just go to a random page. We got Sandslash and the female Nidoran. So what's really cool about this book is that it's based off of the video game series as well as the anime, and so you get a good combination of both. I loved looking at the illustrations, but the stats or the biology, the history of the Pokemon is all in here. You learn how to pronounce the names, you learn the elements, the types, the height, the weight, and probably my favorite thing to do was see their attacks. So you would kind of learn what they would start off with. So for instance, Nidoran, growl and tackle. And so that played a good factor into the Pokemon video games, because if I would catch one of these Pokemon, I would look it up and I'd be like, okay, after that attack, they will learn Scratch, Poison Sting, Tail Whip, Bite, Fury Swipes, and Double Kick. I didn't know what levels they would learn it, but I knew that eventually that they would reach that and learn those attack moves. And you have to remember, this is 98, 99. I did not have access to the internet, and the internet is definitely not what it was as it is today. And so this was a wealth of knowledge for all Pokemon trainers. And I have a great memory of my grandpa taking me on long car rides that were like over 2 hours long. And I remember I would read it, and I would kind of read stuff to him, and he had no idea what Pokemon was, but I would still read it. I'd be like, oh, Grandpa, did you know this fact about Ninetales? And I'd read it to him, and he'd be like, cool, that's really cool. I'm just glad that you're reading. And this is where I memorized the stats of Snorlax. You know, Snorlax is gonna be a big theme on my channel, but I remember Snorlax is 6'11", and he weighs 1,014 pounds. I must have read his little bio page a million times. But what's really cool also is they would have these Pokedex picks right here, and it was just another little bonus of information. So let's read Butterfreeze. It says, regretting that trade you made? Trade it back. Most trainers understand the bond that develops between a person and his or her Pokemon. When Ash traded his Butterfree, the very first Pokemon he had evolved on his own, for Eradicate, he realized they had been through too much together to be apart. So he traded it back. I love this. It's, like I said, a combination of the anime and the video games. It is truly a must-own item for any Pokemon trainer back in the 90s. And so, with all that being said, I'm asking you trainers, did you have this book from your childhood? Did you ever see it? How much of this did you read? I must have read this a million times. And to me, even though it's beat up, it means that it was used a lot by myself. And I've got some great memories sitting in a chair and reading this book on my all-time favorite franchise. Pokemon is just so special to me, and this was a huge part of my childhood. So, Pokemon trainers, leave me a comment below on your thoughts on the official Pokemon Handbook. And if you liked it, or if you want to get it into your collection now. It's always cool to collect Pokemon items. So if you don't have it, I highly encourage it. At the release of this video, it's between $5 and $8 on eBay, and they are in very good condition. So I recommend getting a copy if you don't have it yet. Trainers, that's it. I just wanted to share some memories of the official Pokemon Handbook and share a little bit of my memories reading it. Now, if you haven't yet, make sure you hit that sub button so I can showcase plenty more items from my childhood with the Pokemon franchise, as well as rankings and countdowns and Pokemon of the week. So, trainers, I'm wishing you the best in catching them all.